What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about NIO. I want to go over some of the data points, what's moving it, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So NIO surprisingly is in the red, 0.58%, 681 the low, 706 the high, and 31 million shares being traded. There's a lot of different things coming out right now. A lot of American stocks are rallying because of what came out over the weekend. So you did have Trump kind of insinuating that there is going to be a stimulus coming, roughly 2,000 per person, not including high income individuals, and just a lot of optimism associated to kind of the shutdown. Over the weekend as well, you did get some negative data, macro data associated to China. And in my opinion, this is why NIO is lagging, which is rather unfortunate because normally NIO does get kind of piggybacked and moved based on algorithmic trading, but we did have inflation year over year coming in at 0.2, forecast of 0, and then month over month 0.2 versus a forecast of negative 0.1. So this isn't all that great, although inversely, this might justify some level of stimulus. Just the thing with China is we won't be able to really find out until the end of November, early December, whether we get some sort of stimulus. But I think the kind of Chinese stocks are kind of moving down because of that. And you're not really seeing that much in institutions buying the NIO dip. So right now, 3 transactions on the secondary market, 2 sells and 1 buy. The buy is for 114,000. There was a couple of things that did come out over the weekend. Unfortunately, no official announcement on the date of NIO's earnings. So that's most likely going to be announced soon. I don't know when exactly. I would have anticipated end of last week, but nonetheless, one thing did come out, and that was this right over here. So there was a NIO owners meeting. It surprisingly there was a video of it. It's about 24 minutes long. And so I'll kind of link this in the description below. And this is kind of a summary of what was stated. Nothing crazy that should really prompt this level of pushback with NIO, but nonetheless, one thing did come out that I feel is relatively optimistic, and that is NIO secures around 10,000 orders in the first week of November. So Q4 is huge for NIO. A lot of high expectations, a lot of high milestones. So for them to secure 10,000 in orders, I think that is good, but still technically might not be enough to hit their numbers. So it's one of those kind of double-edged swords that in theory, this is huge progress for NIO, but this is the negative side of them kind of giving so many targets because they make it very difficult for themselves. Very little room for error. So I think in general, this is good. Whether it's trustworthy or not, I'm not sure. So I'll leave that up to you guys to make that determination. It does signal that it's mostly associated to L90 and ES8. Aside from all that though, there really hasn't been that much. Looking at this right over here, so shorts are increasing 1.31 million shares, 10.59% of the free float's being shorted, works out to be 146.6 million shares overall being shorted. DTC still sitting at 1.84 days, signaling that shorts are rather overextended. And ultimately, since looks like the 29th, shorts haven't done anything. They've been kind of just waiting. So I don't know if they're waiting for just some clarity on macro geopolitical issues or if they just generally don't know what to do. I do see at the same time some articles talking about latest 13Fs that have been coming out, and I think in general that's kind of good. I vaguely brought up I think a couple of smaller players, but from what we can see, so it looks like Vanguard did increase their position by 6.68 million. This was done during Q3, mind you, so it's not like they're buying today. I feel like a lot of, again, maybe newer individuals are saying that, hey, Vanguard bought just now, like you need to get in now. All of this information is delayed. So again, do your own due diligence, but it does look as though for those institutions that have disclosed their 13Fs, some of them have increased, so that's always a good thing. So Vanguard, BlackRock, those are typically the big ones in the market. So Vanguard increased by 6.68 million, and then you do have a couple others here and there. So nothing like crazy. But then again, some people do like to really follow what institutions are doing. So if you like to follow what big money kind of has been doing. Vanguard and many others have been increasing. So for those of you that want to break down, this is it right here. So this is some of them. I believe Ortex does take a while to kind of show all the ETFs that have kind of NIO, but as that does update, I'll give you guys kind of a viewpoint on that. But aside from all of that, though, looking at the options, 6.7 million in calls, 537,000 in puts, 73% of all the options being done are bearish in nature. So I get it that NIO's technicals kind of isn't the greatest, and most likely this is also adding a certain level of suppression. So right now it is below the 50-day moving average, and that is a very big deal. For those of you that watched my video on the weekend, I said that Monday would be technically the second trading day below 50-day moving average, really signaling a trend. And so, yeah, I think that's kind of a big deal. Maybe people are anticipating for further push lower because of that, or something like that. I'm not really sure, but technically there's about 3.1 million in net premiums, like negative today. So yeah, kind of crazy stuff. But right now the expected move for NIO's earnings, which again is unannounced, is 8.35%. So rather timid if you actually ask me. But aside from that, from a bull standpoint, you see consensus for it to be roughly around that 7 to 750, and then the bears are anticipating for it to be sub 6 to 650. So it's kind of crazy. Like, I get it, NIO has made a lot of good improvement. It's ran up a lot in comparison to where it was, like between that $3 and $4 range, but it seems like nobody knows what the hell is happening. From the options, people are anticipating NIO to be pretty stagnant. Shorts haven't really been doing all that much. Institutions did a lot in Q3, but lately there hasn't been that much institutional transactions whatsoever. So I feel like just everyone and their dog is just waiting for NIO to either confirm that they are going to be hitting their Q4 numbers and as well profitability. Most likely that'll be kind of talked on in their earnings, or whether they miss and NIO's going to push a little bit lower. And people do not like when I say that on these videos, because that's generally what does happen. I know it might be unpopular opinion, but if a stock mentions, like for instance, if I say I'm going to do whatever 10,000 in production, and as soon as I say that, the market prices that in, but if I miss that target, then the market is going to punish my company. That's just how investing works. Some people just do not like when I say that, the fact that if NIO misses their targets, then it'll go down. That's just how it is. I don't know if maybe newer individuals are assuming just NIO lives in a bubble, but technically that's the negative side of NIO giving all these very ambitious targets, is that if it doesn't go according to plan, you get a little bit more of a push lower. Aside from that, there hasn't been any new analyst ratings. On a side note, with it right now at 682, it is trading between these 2 points. It is pivoting this S1, so 669 is going to be a strong support. Hasn't been tested whatsoever today. And then 702 is going to be the next strong target. Kind of did break above that, but of course that's a very strong resistance point. NIO's really struggled with that $7 range for a while, as well as this R3, so roughly around that 780. So those are two kind of elements to watch for. But as I kind of pointed out, NIO is breaking down on the technicals, so currently below that 50-day moving average. Because of it kind of consolidating over the last couple of trading days, it did break off of the overbought status to now it's roughly around 21, so considered oversold. So it's unfortunate how things happen, but consolidation is normal with any stock. We've seen it consolidate numerous times, especially back in August as well as September, and then things just go up like that. So as I've stated time and time again, if you do believe in NIO, best thing to do is dollar cost average. It's very difficult to catch the highs or the lows, but if you dollar cost average over time, things should be a-okay. But no matter what you do, whatever floats your boat, if you want to YOLO in right now, I'm not here to stop you. You guys do whatever floats your boat. But looking at the market position, you see, especially comparing it to last Friday, a little bit more willing sellers, more around that 720 range. So if NIO somehow gets close to there over the next couple of trading days, you could see a little bit more walls of selling. But you see at the same time a little bit more walls of buying between that about 630 to $6. So anticipate a lot of volatility no matter what. So let me know your thoughts on NIO and everything that I did bring up. Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Or are you just kind of chilling right now? So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. So worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.